live. Like, this is the show people have been waiting for.
What? The stream show? They're always waiting for the stream show.
They've been waiting for this. Did you not
all
know
week?
That?
I know that. Everybody waits all week so they can sit back on their Sunday evening and watch the stream show. Strick and Brant.
They wanted to see what may or may not be different with Brant's beard.
Hey, I trimmed it. I was getting a little too. I was trying to not cut it, and it got just. I did a vlog the other day, and I noticed like stuff sticking everywhere. I was like, no, I gotta fix that. So,
okay, I have it up somewhere on my computer. So my second computer is actually playing the show. Can you hear?
I'm watching it, but I turned it down. Yeah, I hear it. Is it your TV?
No, it's somewhere in my It's in here somewhere.
Just go to force quit. There, I think it went away there.
There we go.
So how's it going?
Man, you know what? We had a great week. So we did a lot of prepping for this show. We have to revisit, Brant, like teaching people how to acquire guests on their shows, because of the work that we put in. I mean, it's kind of reminded me, we did this last year. So let's do that all over again.
Yeah. So I guess the funny thing is I secured a guest, and then I don't know, I started talking to Strick, and I know Strick's very competitive. So once I threw the gauntlet down, he filled up the calendar in like 2 days. So we have, for the first quarter up until end of March, we have every guest spot filled, right? Is that right?
Well, we had one that just opened, had to move a guest to the end of the season. So I have March 6th open. So there's some people that we're still waiting to hear from. So if you're seeing this right now, we have one date for you to get. I think that the guests that we have lined up, you guys would really be impressed with. I think all of them will bring a lot of content to the show to help streamers succeed. And that's our mission, right?
That is our mission. I mean, I got the list in front of me. If I can read them off.
I'm definitely competitive, Brant.
Yeah. So we got, so we had Laura Davis. We've got Katie, Ken tonight. We've got Marilou, Annalicia Way. That's next week. We got Bracken Darrell, the CEO of Logitech, Monty Weaver, and the 27th, we have Derek Floyd, Kevin Colby, and Nicole. Then we've got
Nicole Sellers.
We got is it Jeff Sia?
C.
Jeff C. Dan Courier.
Yep.
And and we have Ash coming back, and then you have String.
So she is huge. 50,000 YouTube subscribers. No, not YouTube. I'm sorry. LinkedIn followers.
Right. And then Jeff he produces Guy Kawasaki's podcast, and Ash, of course, has his own podcast. So it's a really heavy.
And Jeff has his own podcast as well. So he does a podcast. I think it's connected to Restream.
And then Dan Courier is from People of Video, right?
People of Video, another successful coach.
In the words of George Jefferson, we're moving on up.
There you go. I'm
telling you.
What a great quote.
Our first season we had Henny the Business, right? So we got some big people this time. We're trying to get some, who are some of the people? If you're listening out there, me and Strick, one of the people that we connected over that we watch a lot is Potato Jet. So if you watch YouTube and do the camera reviews, we both love Potato Jet. So that's one of our goals is Potato Jet. So maybe we can get him on.
Got to have him on the show. So
that'd be awesome.
My comments off. So let's go down.
I didn't see the comments.
So I can't
see credit Dave.
Facebook
I got Sammy
here.
Superstar.
Yeah, credit Dave. Shouts out to you, sir. Yeah, he has to make sure, and I'm the same way. I have to make sure I didn't have anything happening during this time so I could come to the show. I was telling you guys earlier, I had to cut my nap short today so that I could be ready to go. My man Melvin's going to be on sometime soon. We want to do a production review of Melvin's setup. So
that would be awesome.
He's a real technical guy, man. He's got a lot of gadgets and gizmos in his settings. And there he is, Sammy Superstar. How are you doing, sir? Chris, Champions. Yes, sir. Good to see you. And yes, Brant couldn't take it anymore. He was rewatching the shows, and he heard how I sound
Here we go.
on
3,
my microphone.
2, 1.
Hey! So now you know why Brant actually has a SM7B.
Because I wanted to sound like this. I wanted to sound like this and be like cool.
There you go. And you made it happen. You made it happen.
And I like it. It's great. I mean, I don't know if it sounded any different. I do like the MV7. You know, I think that was a total keep up with Strick kind of purchase. You know what I mean? So, and, you know, we all say the same. I use the same excuse everybody else uses. Like, well, I'm really thinking about getting into voiceover work. So, you know, it'll pay for itself and probably one or two things, you know. And I haven't done any voiceover work, but if you need some voiceover work, let me know.
Yeah, we'll send some stuff your way. And I got to post this one up here. You see this young lady right here, Brant, that's chiming in? She's always on our show, always talking about, hey, I love your show. I love the pre-show talk. Of course you do. You don't have a choice. That's my lovely wife, jazz flutist Kim Scott. She's got a CD release coming up this Saturday. So for people in the Birmingham area that's watching this, you guys can come check her out. Everybody else, go buy the music, okay?
I just think it's, you know, that was the best part about coming to Birmingham was getting to meet Kim Scott. So, you know.
That's it? Not me, Brant?
You're okay. I mean, you're okay, but, you know. She's a Billboard award-winning artist, right? Good Morning from Zurich.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Who is that?
Again, as Facebook user, we have to go on and get it set up so we can actually see what they're saying.
I can log in and look at it.
My fault. And on vacation, but couldn't miss a show. That is awesome.
That's awesome. So we need more. So we have Ash. We've had Ash on. We're gonna have him on again. He's from London, but we need to get some more people right from across, you know, the country. So
it's Tony
across the world.
Shouts out to you, Tony. And we got another one from UK. That's what's going on.
I mean, look,
Brant, do you know how popular you are overseas?
I'm like Pitbull, man. I'm worldwide.
Hey, can we?
I'm gonna call me Mr. Worldwide
and get into the show. I really want to, get this started today. I have so many questions. Okay, so many questions for our guest today. And I would say that one of our guests is highly responsible for this show. There's nowhere getting around it.
There's no way getting around it.
The third member, she's a stream guy, and there's no way of getting around that either. Yeah,
she's like in basketball, what they have the sixth man, right?
Right.
So she's the third stream guy. Is that right?
That I would say that there's no way of getting around that. So if you guys, how you doing? There's Kathy. There she is hanging out with us today. There's no way of getting around having a great guest or two great guests on our show. We're going to talk all things Ecamm, and it's about to go down.
You got that song that I sent you?
Do I have the song?
Did you put it? Did you?
All right, so you ready for me to play? You're going to talk so I can pull it up and I can play it.
He's going to pull up this great song. If you notice, I have the blacked out Ecamm hat. You know, no, I'm not trying to be Doc Rock. Doc Rock wishes he was me, but I'm just saying, I just do like the hat. I love good hats, and I have the rainbow Ecamm hat. I had to have the black Ecamm hat. I got an Ecamm mug. I got the Ecamm. No, but I don't have many people. I'm probably one of the few people have the pint glass. So I don't know if you know, you can get all kinds of Ecamm.
The pint glass?
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm going to redo my beer show, so I should have the Ecamm pint glass, right?
You don't drink beer out of pint glasses, do you?
Yep. That's the only way you drink it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nobody told me that, Brant.
Yep. That's how you do it.
I always just drank water out of it and just would be cool.
So this is what we call in the business a stretch, right? We're stretching. Hopefully,
and the reason why we're doing this because we want to be able to play this great song that Brant sent me because he said I have to be able to do it.
Yeah,
joined as a guest too.
All right, so here we go. I have great guests, so without further ado, if you can, Brant, to the best of your ability, for everybody out there, put your hands together for Katie and Ken of Ecamm. How are you guys doing?
Hey everyone!
Hey,
We're
welcome.
so happy to be here.
Got a Ecamm song for you guys. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have already heard it, but why not have the straight out of Ecamm song
Where's that
play
music coming from?
while you are on the show? And they had a longer intro that I remember.
Straight out of Ecamm.
And don't worry, you don't have to dance, sir. No dance. You don't have to. Hey, enjoy the
Ecamm found.
Okay.
Shout out to DJ Rob, DJ Red on Beats. He came up with that amazing track for us. I think we've been obsessively using it in just about every show.
I love it. I think it's awesome.
Once in a while, something will come through
We're like,
from the community and we're like, what is this? Why is there an Ecamm song?
It's an
So
Ecamm
fun.
song.
How does that make you feel, Ken, to be developer of Ecamm and then have someone do a song like that?
You know, it's awesome, and we see stuff like that every single day. People using the product to just either make something cool or just for no real reason, just deciding they want to make something completely unrelated, like a song about it. It's just so cool.
That's awesome.
it's always
I love
so
it.
fun. Yeah.
And I think it really did work for him. I mean, for all the time he spent on that, it definitely got.
We've been using it
got eyes for
obsessively.
him.
So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Definitely. shout
Somebody,
out
all
to-
right.
what's-
So if there's anybody super talented out there, we could use a stream show. channel. So I'm just saying,
Exactly. DJ Red on
I'll
Beat.
dance.
You're gonna have to.
I'll
You have
dance
to
for
do
it.
this one. Yeah.
Most of our users are talented people in one way or another.
Yeah. Creators.
And they can share that talent, like whether it's video production or singing or music production
Or magic.
or magic
Or
Magic,
presenting. They're
So
teaching.
good
Yeah,
question.
it's amazing.
What is probably the most unique use case that you've seen so far?
You think it was Watermelon
like that.
Festival?
Okay.
That's what, when I first started, that was the one that you claimed was the coolest.
When we first started out with Ecamm Live, we were at a social media marketing world, and people were coming to the booth, and it was a lot of the usual people who we'd already met online, and then
Right.
these two people come over, and they're like, "Hi, we are from the National Watermelon Foundation or something, and we need to we're making like a watermelon live stream or something." And we were like, wow. The National Watermelon Foundation sent you to social media marketing world to learn about video so that you could, do
Yeah.
your job. And
Yeah.
you've come to the right place.
We're going to help you talk about
So where-
watermelons.
Where are they from? Because I know we have a watermelon festival here in
Oh,
Hobart.
there you
so-
go.
But
This was a
the
while
different-
ago. I don't remember.
The different uses are just incredibly diverse. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
we'll have somebody using it to do live streams about, self-defense. We had one guy, he was making live streams for like some really high up government organization somewhere in like Northern Europe. He was actually producing like the parliament's video or something like that
Yep.
for some country. We have people.
Wow.
Cooking. We have home chefs and yoga teachers.
We have one
and-
customer who he's in touch with us a lot because he's one of those people who like can't touch the product without finding problems.
Our pro beta
a certain
taste
type,
tester.
A certain type of person. But anyway, he produces his homeowners association meeting with Ecamm Live.
Wow.
I think this guy must have the most incredible homeowners association meeting.
We want to be part of the
talking
homeowners
about that.
association.
I just kind of want to see one of his meetings after all the work that he puts into it.
Yeah.
But then we have DJs using it to just basically live stream their DJ set, especially during the pandemic. We have people teaching live yoga,
Yeah. Churches, schools.
piano. We have people who teach piano lessons
Piano
with it.
lessons, yeah.
They have an overhead shot of their keyboard and stuff like that.
So if you don't mind me asking, I don't know if you keep up with this stat, but I'd be curious to know how big a jump did you see during the pandemic? Was it like astronomical? Like,
What was the number we decided we were gonna admit
Oh,
to?
shoot. I didn't bring any of the stats that we were going to admit.
did-
What was
yeah,
that fake number that we were going to admit to?
Well, we didn't want to say like how many users we have exactly. But we were
Yeah.
gonna say like this many more.
It was significant growth.
Like
and we,
20 times more or something.
yeah,
huge.
it was huge. To give
Wow,
you a
awesome.
fun story, in the other office, not the place where we are right now, we have this like physical counter. It was like, I think initially meant to keep like tabs on Instagram accounts or like social accounts.
It's one of those ticker clock
It's a ticker
things.
clock, right? So it ticks up
Yeah.
every time someone subscribes. It actually ticks down every time someone unsubscribes. It's very stressful if you're in the office. But we had a video feed on the ticker because none of us were in the office because it was a pandemic. But it was just like tick 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 tick. So it was really fun to watch for a little bit there.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's been great. And I think the cooler stat is that our retention rates are really high. So not only did we see a huge growth, but people who decided to join the Ecamm fam and kind of join us and be part of this group have stayed and have really done some incredible things.
Yeah.
So,
And then they're all still live streaming. I mean, you're not gonna keep subscribing if you're no longer using it for live streaming. But if you are still live streaming, you're still using it. We see that in our stats that people didn't just get in for this one time try out a live stream. That they've kept up with it and joined our community on Facebook, which is
I can tell you personally, I've been streaming since about 2006 live. At that time, the only thing that would work really on the Mac was Wirecast. And I did a lot with Wirecast over the years, and I was like in version 5, and I just didn't do any streaming really anymore. Then when the pandemic hit, I was like, I'm going to get back into streaming. And I had to, I don't know, it wasn't like an easy path. I had to, it was like $700. I mean, it was like a big chunk of change.
It
to
was
make
really
that next
expensive.
jump.
Yeah.
it's very expensive, yeah.
Yeah. And
just even for their low end
before
product.
it was like $30, $20, but because I missed a cycle or whatever, I had to pay too much. So I started using you guys, and I loved the software. I loved everything about it, but I was still using StreamYard because of I had to have it guests. That was the way that I was doing where I worked. I had to have the guest function. And then, you know, just not too soon after that, you guys offered an interview. And I was like, great, because I dumped StreamYard and everybody else because I was like, my wife, we were talking about why she does production too. Mm-hmm. I personally just like having stuff on my computer and that just, not having to rely on the cloud. So, I mean, even though I have to have the internet to stream and everything and do all this, I just like having it, I like having it on my computer, like be able to change it the way I want to change it, do what I want to do. So I think that's, and you guys have been so supportive, and even the innovations that have come out so fast, it just is mind boggling.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got a lot more coming down there. Got a lot more coming.
It
really never
was
ends.
exclusive today. We want it all.
Careful, Ken. You
Exactly what's happening.
So why don't you hit some of those hard interview questions you came up with?
Yeah,
Strick,
where are your
big
incredible
journalistic
interview questions?
I'm happy to talk about some of the stuff that might be coming, but like honestly, we never know exactly what's coming until the last second, because things shift, priorities change. One thing jumps in front of another, gets pushed to for example, almost 2 years ago, we announced that we were adding the interview mode.
Right.
Yeah, we are in the same room. Isn't that weird? We announced in front of a live group of people in San Diego that we were going to be adding interview mode, and that we were going to be adding multi-streaming.
Multi-streaming, yeah.
We announced it at the same time.
Yep.
We still don't have multi-streaming, and that's just because other things got in the way and bumped that down the importance list for people. Mm-hmm. And I did have people tell me, I really need the multi-streaming, and I really need the interview mode. I need them both. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well,
We're
there are
there.
ways to do it.
Yeah.
It's not 100% essential. And during the pandemic, the interview mode was 100% essential.
Right.
Even me and Glenn weren't in the same room during our live streams. During the height of COVID. So it was awesome to add that feature.
We had to be able to prioritize one over the other.
Yeah, and there's a million different reasons why we'll head towards one new feature or another. We would always say we're also going to grab the low-hanging fruit and do what's easy, and do what seems like it will be fun. And then at the same time, we're playing catch up with competitors. We're adding things that we're seeing other people put into other products.
Mm-hmm. And then trying to differentiate ourselves as well. So things that our competitors can't do or wouldn't have thought of, trying to keep ahead of the curve
new
there.
inventions that nobody has ever even thought of yet.
Willy Wonka style.
Yeah. like squircles.
like squircles. Who else would have done squircles? Yeah.
So you actually answered a question that I want to know, like how do you even come up with which feature and which function do you go with? I asked that question, like even with saying, hey, multi-streaming got bumped, like. Yep. When you say we really have to decide, what is that process like? You're listening to the community?
It's very complex, guys. So do you guys use the Apple Notes?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you use Apple Notes.
I use the Apple Notes. According to my phone, I have almost 4,000 notes on Apple Notes.
Wow.
And they go back a long time. And have you ever used the shared notes feature where more than one person can edit a note?
Yeah, me and Brant, we use that to build the show. We sure do.
There you go.
So you know what I mean. So we have a shared note, and it's just shared by me and Glenn.
I think I'm on it.
You're on it?
I think I might be on it.
It's called Features We Totally Want to Add.
It is,
okay.
Yeah.
And it's really
substantial.
long.
It's
I can show you.
substantial.
So it just goes on and on and on and on.
Wow.
And
there's highlighting.
things get added to it almost every day.
There's comments.
And things almost never get taken back off. Once in a while. You ever find like an old to-do list and you're like, oh, I did all these things. Or you find an old to-do list and you're like, I didn't do any of these things.
I have Moleskine books all over the place, and I went through and I go back and look at them and see if I accomplished the things that I had set out for myself. So, but
we do in your defense, we do also. You are often in either the beta testing group or in the community, and the entire team, whether it's like the moderators or Doc or myself or Ken or Glenn, are constantly pulling out feature requests that we see. And we do have a shared Slack channel where we're communicating those to the larger team.
If anyone
and we are prioritizing that list as well. So we do have like a big team meeting.
Yeah, things get added to this list when someone usually asks us about it. Like, for example, you guys familiar with Blackmagic's Decklink API? Mm-hmm. Blackmagic makes all these boxes that are fun to have.
I don't have any on the desk.
And some of them are ingest boxes for bringing in video from a camera. Some of them are actually for sending video out. So you could use it to hook up a secondary display or just go out to some kind of fancier video system.
Okay.
And for example, if somebody has a fancy studio that has like SDI video running around and they want to go SDI out of their computer, there's really no way to do it without one of these Blackmagic boxes.
Right.
And we don't support Blackmagic output right now. And I guess the reason is it just doesn't get really like get requested that often.
Yeah.
But like it's probably something that me and Glenn, or I don't know about Glenn, but I looked at and I said, oh, like that actually sounds kind of fun to get going. Because that means I get to go buy one of those Blackmagic boxes. It means I get to like, hook up a bunch of wires and it's probably not that hard. And it would be cool to like have one of the bullet points be like Blackmagic output, even though like in the entire world, probably like 11 people will end up using it.
Well, yeah, I think that like I've got two Blackmagic things back in the case behind me that I don't use. Yeah, but the only reason I had those is that's how I used Wirecast, and they were FireWire, so I can't use them anymore.
FireWire. Yeah, no, you can't use that.
And I think you would need them in in traditional broadcasting.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants
to
bring
I bought a card that it's just like Thunderbolt, and then it has a SDI and an HDMI output. And then I started looking at the SDK, and it's like, oh my goodness, this is complicated. Like there's like 10 different kinds of outputs. There's like
it's just
100 different. So there's like you pick your output, you pick your format, you pick your frame rate, you pick your encoding, and like I thought I was just gonna have to like show a list of your Blackmagic devices and you pick one, and it's like,
nope.
No, it's like really. Oh my goodness, okay. Well, maybe I'll get to that someday.
We're sorry, Blackmagic fans. We'll eventually get there.
To do it, 'cause, like I
just want to say, personally, I know because I was streaming into the beta group. I was doing some tests. I was so excited about some of the new things. I thought I would show off some of the new stuff. I couldn't freaking do it. I couldn't figure it out. And Ken came on with me for 45 minutes. And basically, this was my favorite part. He's like, yeah, I'm going to have to redo that because it's confusing. And I was like,
I did redo it.
Actually looking at, so you're actually, you're working with a product that developers are actually looking at us use it going, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, no,
or
it's like watching you
anymore,
use
or
it. I was
something.
like, that doesn't make sense to anybody but me.
Exactly. It made sense to Ken.
And what I did was
It
we
just
had a
didn't make sense to
checkbox
anyone
in
else.
there. We had a checkbox in the menu. Suffice it to say, I just removed it and just decided that it would always be one way or the other. Like, and it's a very Apple-y way to do it. It's like instead of making the user make a decision that they don't know the answer to, hell, just pick one.
Right.
And if the user doesn't like it happening that way, sorry.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
having the option there. It's just going to confuse people.
Yeah.
So I just like pulled the checkbox right out and decided it would always be set.
That's awesome.
And I don't know, see if anybody complains in the new beta.
We'll see. If you don't like it, let us know.
So for all of the Ecamm users in the community that's watching this, as you can tell right now, we have the co-founder and developer of Ecamm in the community talking with other Ecammers along with the marketing director. So when you think about the product that you purchased, Ecamm that you're using right now, I mean, you can see on a Sunday night that they're willing to take their time to be a part of a conversation to help you be better at whatever you're using Ecamm for. So we're so delighted that you guys are willing to take the time to do that and to be able to talk through some of these things. If you have questions that you want to ask Ken and Katie, please, by all means, put them in the chat. If you are in the group, thank you so very much. I can see them. All right, we are watching online. So, Anna, thank you for hanging out with us, for coming in. And for everybody that's on YouTube, if you're not on YouTube, haven't subscribed to the stream show, please go do that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and then hit the bell for notifications so you'll know exactly when we're live. And, of course, you got to like the stream today. Like, you know, we're going to take the stats on this stream and see how many likes Ken got when he was talking, you know? Are you liking
And we're
this
also
at
trying
all?
to get that 1,000 subscribers. We had to
Yeah, help them get to 1,000. Unlock
So
so
help
many
us get
cool
to
things.
1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started the show talking, Ken, I don't know if you know this, but, you know, we talked about Katie being like our third member, but this was, you know, Katie, you know, gave the go-ahead to the idea of even having a stream show. We actually started just for the community. Like,
Oh, wow, I
really,
didn't
just for
realize
the
that.
Ecamm community, we started with this, and Katie came and said, hey, I love the idea.
Can we back that up a little bit? Let's go back to the truth. The truth is, Katie's email said, hey, could we have some Ecamm community members take over the channel for like a week? Strick calls me and says, she's wanting somebody to make a show. We're going to do this. And I was like, okay. So it's total miscommunication. but
No,
we
it
did
was it was enthusiasm. You were enthusiastic and you
enthusiastic.
took on the
Thank you, Katie.
challenge.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you. Thank you for taking up for me. I did misread. I was so excited I misread the email. But because I did misread it,
Yeah.
some great ideas came out, and we did develop a show that was catered to the Ecamm Live community, which at that point was probably about 13,000 at that point. And
Wow.
right now, the community is knocking on 20,000.
I saw that.
members.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Now, like I might be the half of the programming part of Ecamm, but Katie's the reason you guys all know about Ecamm. So that's just, I think, if not more important, to have that. Because so, like, if it wasn't for Katie, like Ecamm would still be out there, but no, like nobody would know about it. so it wouldn't be ever useful to you.
Well, you're saying that. I want to be sure, as I'm talking to you as one of the, you know, you're a co-founder, that Katie is awesome. Like, the community loves her. We love her.
Hey now,
for
hey
what
now.
She brings. I mean, she is just downright awesome. And,
Thank you.
And she works so hard too. Like, she has so much going on all the time. It makes me feel like completely lazy some of the time. I'll be like, "What are you doing right now?" And she's like, "Oh, I got this." Her weekly report is like from here to the floor with all the different shows and like projects and promotions and things that she's working on. Like, I'm like, she has people helping, but
I have an amazing team.
sometimes I don't know how she could do it with only the team she has.
Wow.
And it's because the community people like.
It's
like
because of
pitch in
all
and
of
help
you.
too.
Yeah, it really
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
It's because I don't think I go a single day maybe even within a couple of hours at a time, without someone from the community sending like an encouraging note or a genius idea or a, did you know? I mean, you are all like constantly in my inbox and in my DMs asking, you know, all of the most amazing questions. So every genius idea I have has had someone mentioning some small thing in my ear about this, that, or the other. So it goes a long way. And I'm a big believer that it's amazing if we can build a safe space and a fun space for people to feel encouraged and supported and able to express their creativity. You are all the reason that I'm on camera, because I would not have wanted to do it otherwise. So,
well, that being said, how big was the community focus before COVID, or was it product? I mean, was this always was the community a big part of the marketing, or was?
So can I take that, Katie? Yeah. So Katie came on the team before COVID started. We lucked out. Me and Glenn, I was just like hanging out at Katie's house, and she was like, I don't like my job. And I was like, wow, my job is great, but like, we really decided that like, if we're gonna have a social media related product, we probably should have social media. And then there's just like this silence, and I'm like, do you want to be
do you want to do
social media marketing person? And she's like, yeah, sure. And at the time,
you had a community.
We had a Facebook group that had like 7 people in it.
It had more than 7 people in it. It maybe had it. I feel like it was closer to 100, but
it was not active. Let's just say it was not. We never went in it. We never posted to it. Nobody was looking at it. The people who had joined it just like joined it because it was there. It was not. It did not exist. For all intents and purposes, it did not exist. And we identified that right away as a place where we could improve. Things like having a YouTube channel. Were other obvious things that we could
leverage,
improve on. Who is saying?
I had always really wanted.
That said that. I think.
Yeah, it's Anna.
Oh,
so
Anna, you're the best.
I'm not like. I did not even moisturize today. But
doesn't that just drive you crazy, Anna? We're over here moisturizing nonstop.
I have like
and
a
Ken
wrinkle
just like looks
here
15.
that I only have on some days when I didn't sleep well. But
so how did you guys know each other professionally, or were you just friends? Or
Katie lives in my town.
So yeah, this is actually a really fun story, which we don't tell very often. So you may assume that I am the social, bubbly, friendly one in my personal life, and I'm married to an engineer who everyone would assume is the like quiet, stoic, introverted type. But he is the one that will actually go out and meet people in town. And I'm the kind of person that's like, oh, I don't want to intrude or bother anyone. And so I'm much less likely to go out or say hi to people downtown or visit people or knock on doors uninvited. I'm just like terrified of that entire thing. So Dane signed up for an adult coding class at Code and Circuit, which Ken had at that time, I think, just started.
Yeah, I have a computer science school in town, and it's for kids. But when I first started, I thought I would try doing a grown-up group, and Dane joined it because he wanted to
meet people, and he liked
coding. He had a project he wanted to do.
He's always got a project.
He's always got many projects.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's how I met them.
And we've been friends for a long while now. Yeah,
definitely.
But we don't want to
7 or 8 years
skirt
ago.
past this coding school you have. Isn't this a nonprofit that you actually run?
I know. Ken never wants
It
to talk
is.
about it on Ecamm stuff, but I think he should be proud of it.
It's a little bit of crossover, but
Yeah.
I think 7 or 8 years ago, I started the computer science classroom, Code and Circuit. It's actually right
down the
across
hall.
this wall here. And in 2018, we formed it into a nonprofit because it wasn't making a profit.
Because it was a non-profit.
No, just so that it could have charitable purposes and we wouldn't have to worry about people thinking that we were trying to do it as a money-making venture, because it really isn't.
Yeah.
Right.
And then last year, was it? I guess you can consider
It's
that
all a
last
blur.
year.
Yeah.
since it's January. Last year, I hired a full-time director, so I'm actually not technically running it anymore.
Lori.
I still do a lot right now, but we got a bigger space, and we're really going big with it now. And
That's awesome.
it's very it used to take up most of my time, and we were mostly closed when COVID hit for about a year, so now we're just trying to ramp back up, and it's just really cool because as I like to say, I get to play with and buy all the latest gadgetry, meet all of the smartest kids and coolest families in town. I mean, and hang out with them and do computery stuff. Like, you really couldn't get any better than that.
I love
It's a really fun space.
That's awesome. I love doing community work as well. So when I found that out, of course, we get a chance to know more about the founders of the company. And it's just really cool that you have a mindset to help the community in that way. And now we hear that, it's something that you enjoy because you get a chance to play around with cool things while you're helping other people learn this new technology. I think that coding is it should be considered a foreign language that everybody should learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like at some point, you're going to have to figure it out.
A lot of these kids are learning on their own, but then for those kids, our classroom is a way for them to find a community and hang out with other kids who think the same things are cool. I have a teen group on Wednesdays, and these kids are I don't have anything to teach them, but just hanging out with other kids and working on the projects is what's in it for them. Is meeting and just having other kids they can geek out about taking their laptop apart, or SpaceX, or the latest and greatest robots
and 3D printing and everything in between.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Again, I just love the fact that we're getting an opportunity to kind of learn some of the back end. I know there were other products or software that you guys had developed, Ecamm, and there was it's like 3 or 4 others that you have made for Apple products. What made you kind of focus on Ecamm other than some of those others?
We have been making Mac software since 2003, if I have that date correct. And we'll create something, it will get popular, and then it will usually come back down, either because it's no longer useful for people. We used to have an add-on for the camera to add effects to it, called eyeglasses. And then, but a lot of the usefulness of that either got built into the operating system or became less useful for people because of changes in just how cameras worked and how computers worked. So we just start paying less attention to it. We still sell it, but it's just not something that we're focused on because it's not getting more popular. It's getting less popular.
Got you.
And then we have an add-on for Skype to record your Skype calls that we've been selling for a decade. But Skype has the record button now. So that just right there makes it less popular with new users. We have a lot of devoted people.
We have some diehard fans.
People who love it because it's better quality and much better quality than the built-in recording, and doesn't have the same kinds of limitations. But we chose not to continue, adding to that and adding new features to it because it's not the future. Skype is not the future. There's other ways to do it. And then with the Ecamm Live, when we came up with that, we didn't know it was going to be the huge thing it is now.
Okay.
It was one product in a line of ideas and new products that we've made. But we never have known it would take off in the way that it did. The way that it took off meant tripling the size of our company, headcount-wise, and really paled in comparison to the popularity of the previous products, which were popular with Mac users in the past, but are becoming less relevant just because of the nature of those products. We've never had an app like this, which is so complex and so full-featured. I mean, call recorder for Skype that I mentioned previously was maybe about this much code. It was not
Very
a complicated
simple,
tool. It's got a one button. It records Skype. That's it.
That's it.
Well, you said one thing important there, the future. So I want to hear from Glenn. Glenn's your brother. Glenn and Ken. What is the future? What is the future of Ecamm? What is the future of this space as you see it?
Of the live streaming space?
Yeah, of live streaming, content creators, all that.
I think that it's interesting to look at how it's changed over the last couple of years. When Facebook first announced Facebook Live, there was this idea, in Twitter with Periscope and everything, there was this idea that like live streaming would be something that you would do just casually with your friends.
Yeah, fun
like
for
remember the
friends.
Mark Zuckerberg like grill and meat video where he's just like hanging out in his backyard? Like that was how they announced Facebook Live. This concept that you would just be like hanging out, live streaming your chill out session, grill and meat with your friends or something. Or like the little pop up on Periscope was always like, "Hey, I'm in a helicopter." Like that was like you would just be like, instead of posting a photo of what you were doing to make your friends jealous, you would actually bring them live with you to make them jealous. And it doesn't really seem like that is where it went at all. I mean, if they could have envisioned a return to the old days of live television where people were producing content that is live like a show.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't think that they thought that that's what it would turn into. And
So
they
I
had to play catch up with Facebook Producer and stuff and kind of catch from what they thought it would be, where you'd go live from your iPhone of like when you're on a helicopter to what it actually turned into with people like you guys producing live content or somebody streaming a live event, like a graduation or a wedding or a music lesson or a...
Well, and then the pandemic changed everything
That
as far
did-
as
that
as far
changed
as
it even
video
more.
went, but yeah, it's been
And so
it's
in
been
the future,
interesting, yeah.
man, I could make guesses, but I'd probably be wrong. But
I mean, right now, I would say live selling is the huge wave that's hitting right now. Certainly continued like higher level video production, and that's not necessarily just live, that's just in general like better video production across the board. And then the third one I would say, which we haven't actually touched hardly at all yet, but I know Brant, you've been playing around with, is all kind of the augmented reality metaverse future of kind of the digital space and what the digital world will look like.
I'm skeptical of the VR goggle thing, but I do think that there's a place for it.
It's the future.
It's the future. It gives me a serious headache like immediately. It's not the future for anyone over 40. It's the future. Maybe the kids.
Well,
the kids
let me
will
fast track you real quick. So in 2006-07, I took a year off to start an internet company called Station X, and we were part of Arkansas had it's called the Innovation Hub, the Rockefeller Foundation. It was, they were looking to do the next Google, the next big thing, and I was actually the first client. And I spent a year trying to start an internet television station, and because my background was TV, and at that time it was things like Revision 3. There was Leo Laporte was starting Twit TV. And I spent a year trying to develop it. And I developed a show called Beer Utopia, and I was doing it live. Back then it was Livestream. It was a company called Livestream, and you had a whole web producer and everything. I think it still exists, but but you had to pay to go live. So I mean, I made it all the way to the Great American Beer Festival and got paid, but it took every amount of money just to pay for the streaming service. I've streamed debates for governors. I'd done all this stuff. It's like I had to, like my credit card was on file, and they were like, "You've reached your limit, and there's too many viewers." And it was so stressful.
Oh, wow.
And then one of my, I talked to the big angel investor of our state, and the guy was like, "You mean like YouTube?" And I was like, "Well, kind of, all right, internet TV is never going to work."
What is kind of fascinating that I never really thought of until now.
But it died. Revision 3 and Dignation and Kevin Rose and all that stuff hit about 2007, 2008 when YouTube came out, and there was no way to monetize on YouTube. And I had to just give up because there really was nobody that was helping, like literally all my consultants were like, you're trying to develop something that doesn't exist and we don't know how to help you. And I was so frustrated. And that's why I'm getting back into it now, is because I really feel like I was just 10 years too, 10 years too early.
I want to go back in time and watch the 10 years ago Brant live stream and see what it was like.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can share it with you. We did live from the Great American Beer Festival in the Flying Dog
that
Brewery.
event. Yeah, we probably would. We probably sent it at some point.
My wife was she did all the cam stuff. She cut me off about 2 hours because I was, we drank a lot. She's like, that's it.
Too many tastings.
Yeah.
But we were doing live remotes from bars here in Little Rock, and people were paying us.
You got to remember that, in 1998, I remember watching the first video I ever saw play on a computer. Mm-hmm. That's how far we've come in that 20.
Yeah, it's huge if you think about that.
Year period. I remember we had a Mac in our dorm room, and everyone from the whole hall was gathered around because we had a little video playing on the screen. Yeah. And no one had ever seen that before, a video coming across the internet. YouTube wasn't even invented until 2005. And I never really thought about it before, but when we live stream to Facebook or YouTube and then people watch it on Facebook or YouTube, they're footing the bill for all of the bandwidth.
Yeah, it used to cost me $500 to do an hour or so. And but that was
so
cell phone minutes. As if you went popular, then it's going to cost you more. So it just, to me, it's just amazing.
Crazy. Yeah. So
I had one of the remember flip cameras? Those were so cool.
Yeah.
I still miss my flip camera.
Yeah. I mean,
so this is fascinating to me. What you guys have developed would be, I ran live TV for a number of years, and it would take $100,000 Grass Valley switcher to do what I can do now with my $700 iMac or Mac Mini.
Yep.
Base
that
Mac
right there
Mini
is I think,
everything.
One of the coolest things. I didn't come from this world at all, and I remember when well before we hired Doc, we were doing testimonial videos, and he basically did a video where he explained, line by line broke down what the cost was to produce videos prior to an app like Ecamm Live, and it was staggering. It was basically hundreds of thousands of dollars.
To have somebody do it for you, if you were to try to do it yourself, I remember when we were doing the little bit of market research we did when we started planning Ecamm Live, and we were well, let's see what else is there on the Mac. See, there's there's this completely free product. Oh, but we can do a lot better than that. That's hard. That's a harsh product right there. And then we're and then there's of course Telestream Wirecast. Mm-hmm. And when we looked at how much that cost, we were I think there's a spot for us here to come in.
Somewhere between free and insane.
Between free and $1,000 for their lowest end product, and
right.
It didn't.
Well, before that, if you had to get a new tech box, and
you had to get the fastest Mac on the planet, because when you ran Wirecast on a Mac, it would be 900% CPU all the time, even when you weren't even touching it. Right. And maybe it's better now, but the problem with a cross-platform product like OBS or Wirecast is that their engineers have to make it work on all the platforms.
They have to be thinking,
and they don't have time to be sitting there making sure that it's efficient on one platform
I'd like to
or the
think,
other.
and I'm just gonna, and I don't want to upset anybody from OBS, but I got back into all this because I was watching gaming streamers, and I'm pretty smart. I've been doing this for a lot of years, and freaking OBS just made me so mad. And then when I tried Ecamm, I was like, oh, you just drag it. Okay, it's there, and maybe I'm just anti-PC,
it's
but
not
many of them I've done
but
OBS for Mac, and it just, some of the things are just kind of backwards to me. It's I can't figure it out without, and I think Ecamm, I was able to figure it out in the first, I just opened it, and I was able to get something to work.
Opened it. It made sense.
It's an open source product, and tons of people work on it, and it's not awful. It's just it's designed as a cross-platform tool. It's not very Mac-like, so for a Mac user, getting in there is kind of surprising. It works really well.
You have to know what you're doing.
For what it's doing, and
I would describe it as cumbersome. So you figure it out. There's ways.
Stephanie calls it the IKEA of live streaming.
And it does. It does absolutely.
That's a very good explanation.
No.
The IKEA of multi-streaming.
Internet-y.
Oh, we're going internet-y.
We're going internet-y.
I'm sorry. It's prime time for all the kids watching streaming and doing all the.
It'll come back in a second.
It'll come back. We'll be back.
Ooh, we got really small. But anyway, I was saying OBS it does absolutely everything. So like when someone requests a feature from us, it's usually something that OBS already does. And it sometimes can be like a good. I'll get in there once in a while to do like a to just check something. Like if someone's saying like, wait, why isn't this camera running at this frame rate or at this resolution? I know that I can open up OBS and check to make sure we're not crazy. It's like, I don't know if I can say, oh, it's not working here either. Like it's like I can eliminate us as the problem. It's somewhere further down the line, like it's the camera. So it's good to have a product that I can actually like check us against. What's the word? Like a reference product where I can be like,
right.
Oh, like they do have Blackmagic output. Like, and here's how here's all the options they give. Here's some checkboxes that the user's never going to know the right answer to. We're not going to need to have those in our app, but we are going to allow them to have to choose this and this and that. Wow, we just got super grainy.
I know. Sorry, guys. Oh, right. Dave, I love that you work for Apple and are recommending us. Thank you so much.
That is awesome. And we have so many people in the comments. We have people on, of course, inside of the community that's watching. Thank you guys so very much.
Hey,
this
fam.
show is for you. Of course, we have one of the co-founders and the marketing director from Ecamm right here on the stream show. And this show was actually built, like I have to say this again, this show was actually started for the community. And now we have the co-founder and marketing director, and then next Sunday, we have the CEO of Logitech coming to be part of this show.
Following Sunday, the 13th.
Following Sunday. So next Sunday is Alicia Way and Mary Lou. Mary Lou is coming. So we're going to talk about how to make content and all that kind of stuff. So we have so many people coming, but of course, this is built off the community. I know we talked earlier about so many different use cases for Ecamm. Is there a ideal customer or a customer that you see a little more often? Because I know for me, we've gone through OBS. I said it was cumbersome. Of course, I tried it. There are other free browser-based systems that people could use. But I, like everybody else in the community, found Ecamm, found how easy it was. My experience as being a DJ, I know how to look forward and use buttons on a board. So I thought that being a remote producer or producing my own show would be fairly easy, and it is with Ecamm. Is there a particular customer that you say, hey, these are the people that we're looking for that we know would love our product?
Oh, that's a really hard question. It at least from a marketing perspective, it changes each year. So like we have a good kind of various groups of target customers that currently exist within the Ecamm fam. We talked about a number of them earlier when we were starting, but I would say for this year, there's 3 sort of customer groups that we are creating more content for and going and trying to reach and help as best as we can. And those are any of the kind of what we're referring to as professionals, which sounds like a really wide audience, but these are all of the folks who are in Zoom, who are presenting, who are probably not using Ecamm really actually for live streaming at all. They just really want to be able to improve their video quality and flow of their presentations and their content. They want, when they join a call, for people to say, wow, you look awesome. You are sounding awesome. Yeah. Those folks.
Speaking of sounding awesome, we're kind of still melting over here. Strick, cut away from us for a second and I'll refresh the browser and then you can add us back in.
There you go.
Because I think that might help.
We'll be right back.
Because I can't deal with the melting. I'll be right back.
No problem. So, Brant, when we think about how this show was started, and we can see all of these people in the comments, I have to say a big shout out to Credit Dave that's talking, Miss Felicia that's talking. We have several people inside of the community. Can you read some of those names out for people that are in the community talking to us?
Let me see. Oh, in the community. Yeah, we've got Paul Duncan. We've got Tristan, John Griffiths, Felicia, of course. She's in the community. I've seen JP High Tech has given us a thumbs up in there. Then over on YouTube, you can see the YouTube people, right? We got Credit Dave, Felicia. So, yeah. So we got a lot of people. I know we're streaming this to my LinkedIn, but I don't know we get anybody from LinkedIn at this late at night. But
So there's a couple of people. Someone asked, "Is this inside the community? Is this the only place you can get us?" We are a community show, but you can also see this show on YouTube, on our YouTube channel called The Stream Show. So the Stream Show, we're looking for subscribers. So if you know anybody that needs to subscribe, tell them. We would love you guys to subscribe and then hit the bell for notifications. And I'm going to see if we can get Katie and Kim back in here, because this conversation has been awesome. If you've been enjoying this, just please hit the like button, throw some emojis in there for us if you're really getting something out of this. Or if you have a question that you want asked, please type it in, put a Q in front of it, and type in your question, and we'll love to be able to answer that question. Let me see if they are back and ready for us. There we go.
Hey, we're back together.
Look at us.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was,
there
but
you go.
the internet here at the classroom is not the greatest because it's a cable modem.
Uh-oh.
Gotcha.
And when the thing I don't like about cable modems around here in New England is when the wind blows
I get
during
it.
a snowstorm or something, it starts to go out.
We also have no other options. So.
That's not true.
Well, you do. I don't have.
I got at my house one of those Verizon home internet base stations.
Yeah,
and I
that's
love
pretty
it.
cool.
The internet was beautiful all through the blizzard. And then
I'm so angry that it's
and then
not
we
on.
also got me and Glenn have a vacation home and we nearby, and we got Starlink, the SpaceX
All
internet
right. Is
station.
it working?
It works beautifully. And today I went over there to check it out to make sure the blizzard didn't do any damage to the building. And the old cable modem wire was just lying in the driveway, had fallen down, and
Oh no.
and I said, I don't even need that wire. And I
Get
just
that out of
cut it
here.
right off the house because
We're super, my family's super rural, and my brother put his money down for the Starlink, and we used to game together, and he has to have something with low latency, and my parents, everybody can't get it. So we're waiting for it to get there. I know even where I'm
it's
at.
not available.
Now he paid for it. He did the 90 or whatever. He gave Elon his money, and that's not available yet. So I don't know what's
We
going
got in
on.
really early. I think we were part of the first round when it wasn't
And
out.
I just found
when it
out
hadn't run
I
out
might
yet.
be getting fiber, so I'm excited.
Oh, jealous.
That would be
Yeah.
cool.
So
We have fiber down at the other office.
I can't
Glenn has
wait
fiber
to
at his
stream in
house.
4K. I'm so ready to do that. Someone would say,
Yeah.
"Why would you do that?" Just so it looks good on the other end. I don't know. I can't.
4K 60.
There you go. Yeah.
I would take 4K. For me, 4K 30 would be just fine.
Okay. I'll take anything.
Do you want to hear something really weird? I was experimenting with the Logitech Brio last night,
Okay.
and I looked down, and it's going at 90.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see it in the interface, but or can you? But when I was in 720 mode, the Brio punches itself up to 90.
The Brio was
on
like,
Monterey.
more.
Yeah, and I'm like, what?
Wow.
Are you kidding
So
me? I've never heard of that
things
before.
like, so we will have the Logitech CEO. I'm sure you won't have the technical answers, but you could obviously join in the chat.
Yeah,
But
we'll have to
are
join the
there-
chat and watch.
Are there any future products that you thought about making for yourself? Like, could Ecamm partner with another company and make your own Stream Deck type device, or have you thought about any hardware?
That's a really good question. I haven't thought about that before. Personally, I would probably not want to get back into hardware. A lot of people probably don't know this, but Ecamm has sold hardware in the past. It's kind of like an unusual side story, but we teamed up with a hardware engineer because he was building a camera and he needed Mac driver support for it. And so he came to us and he said, I'm making this USB webcam. There's a hole in the market. There's no really cheap plug and play USB webcams. And at the time, Apple's iChat would not show USB webcams. So you needed like a hack to get it to show up on the Mac. And so we were building that hack for him. And he sold tens of thousands of these cameras, and we sold them through the Ecamm website on our shopping cart. So he built the hardware, he invented it, built it, and drop shipped it. And we marketed it, sold it, and dealt with customer support. But you can ask Midori what it's like doing customer support for hardware. Like, It's the
a
old,
lot.
like, is it plugged in upside down kind of situation, and then dealing with returns, dealing with that is not fun.
Ken, you're
But
not
then-
helping me here. I've been, trying to get Brant to for us to have some stream show products, and Brant is like, absolutely
And I
not.
can't
We're
tell
not
him,
doing
nope,
products.
nope.
No, merch is great, but like
We're big fans
actually
of
making a
merch.
tech product. So then
that-
that product was a success. So the same guy, he was like, guys, I got this idea. There isn't he was a really technical guy. He said, Bluetooth has in the spec the ability to do video over Bluetooth. No one in the world is using this ability, but in the Bluetooth spec, the Bluetooth 2.0 spec is a profile for video. So we should be able to make a Bluetooth webcam that streams audio and video over Bluetooth. And I'm like, cool, because I love cameras. I've always made camera-related products. I've owned every webcam ever made. Literally, I have a box in my attic. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, okay. And so he worked for a year on this, building the hardware for a Bluetooth webcam. So inside of this thing was a rechargeable battery, a tiny microcontroller, an H.264 encoder, a microphone, an AAC encoder, and then it multiplexed it all together and sent it over Bluetooth. And then I wrote the Mac side, because it needed a special agent running on the Mac to receive that data and turn it into a camera on the computer. So I did all the software side. He did all the hardware side. Problem is, there's absolutely no use for a Bluetooth webcam. It's like an eject button on a VCR remote control. Like, you have to actually be there to be using it near a computer.
Right.
Gotcha.
So it was like an awesome, like,
was a
cool
good idea.
idea.
It was a good idea.
For like absolutely no purpose. And of course, then you have like latency because it's going over the Bluetooth. You have like the fact that Bluetooth 2 is like terrible. Like, remember Bluetooth 2? It was like pin codes and pairing codes, and it never worked. And then on the top of all that, like, the range of a wireless connection and the bandwidth, this is something a lot of people don't realize, is that like the closer you are, the faster it goes. And it's complicated why, but like Bluetooth has an effective range of like 100 feet. Like in a field at the right temperature, like with direct line of sight. Like,
Yeah.
But you don't get the full bandwidth at that distance. It gets slower.
Oh, okay.
And so the thing only really worked like 6 feet from the computer.
So maybe you could just have a wire.
So maybe you could just have a wire.
Yeah.
So anyone who did
Are you
actually have
taking-
some
are you
like
taking
clever
notes,
reason why they
Strick?
needed the wireless camera couldn't use it because it wouldn't go far enough.
I'm definitely taking notes. Like, this is some
Strick,
good stuff.
last year, Strick was sending me Alibaba and all these places, and looking at
Strick's got some
manufacturers. I was
ideas.
like, no, I said, because I know the reality. Somebody has to package and ship that stuff and handle all the complaints. I was like, I
Shipping
don't
stuff is hard.
Yeah, and like here's the problem too. Like, if your product hits,
Yeah.
you immediately go out of stock.
Yeah.
That's true.
By the time you get your
Right,
stock
right.
back, nobody wants it anymore.
yeah.
Well, thank you
Especially
for
Not
your
a problem we
advice,
had with that
Ken.
camera.
Thank you
The
we-
opposite
very
problem with
much.
that camera.
We
Can
won
we ask?
a Best in Show award at Macworld 2008 for that camera.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, blue site plaque. Best
Yeah.
in Show.
We'll have to take a picture.
So
We'll
let's-
post it in the community.
Let's ask the real question here that we all been dying for. Can you give us anything that's going to be coming out soon? Any news?
Wait, Brant,
any-
you got to ask him to pull out the phone, pull up his notes, and let's just go down the
there you
notes
go.
here.
Just one by one.
Let's just go down the notes. While he's doing that, I wanted to quickly answer Melvin's question about the Elgato Pedal.
Let me
just 'cause
see if I can pull that up really
Yeah,
quick.
it's a
Here it
recent
goes.
one. The answer, Melvin, is that we're waiting to get ours. So in the words of products that immediately go out of stock, people are so excited about this that it sold out really quickly. We have a couple coming. Doc's getting one, and Caleb is getting one as well on our team. So
what would you use?
We'll
it
have
for?
thoughts
Just
soon.
Switch a
Pedal, to be
camera
able
or
to
something?
switch instead of having the
Yeah.
Stream Deck, you can use your feet to switch scenes.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
an extension. It's an extension
But you'd
product
just
of
be
the
able
Stream
to
Deck.
assign one at a time, right?
Well,
It's
you
two
can
pedals.
actually, if I'm understanding correctly, there's I believe 3, and the middle one will let you change what the other 2 do. So if you're a musician or a chef or a crafter or anyone that needs to use their hands, it's just going to, and even presenting really to some way if you're like talking with your hands, you just want to be able to change scenes back and forth. But there's definitely a need for it for a number of different audiences. It's not going to make sense for everyone, but a lot of people will find it helpful.
So the interesting thing about having a marketing team is that like when you're trying to push out new features, the marketing team, they want you to like put it into like a big release and have PR. Like have
the marketing
PR
team wants to just be like this. And don't say anything.
Me and Glenn just want to like trickle out the new features randomly and like point releases.
That sounds fun.
But like Katie's like, can we like talk about what's going to be in 4.0, or can we talk about and not put them out now? Can we like put it in the big release, or can we actually tease this stuff? But so in that spirit, I'm going to say that I'm not even sure I mentioned it to Katie, but we're probably going to put out tomorrow a new beta update. No, I did tell you about it.
Yeah.
And so it's not a scoop that far into the future, since it's...
Are you ready? Are you part of the beta group?
Unless we find some crazy issue, we're probably going to put it up tomorrow or the next day. But
nice.
We are adding... So a lot of users are familiar with our virtual camera feature, where the output of Ecamm becomes a camera source in other programs. So if you're in Zoom and you pick Ecamm as your camera,
you look way better.
You look awesome, and you can use fancy cameras like your DSLR, and anything that you produce in Ecamm goes out into your Zoom conference. What we never had, for God knows why, was a way to do that with sound. So what we're adding probably tomorrow to the beta is a virtual mic. So you will pick Ecamm as your mic in Zoom, and any sound switching or fading or sound effects, etc., that you play in Ecamm will come into Zoom.
We just had that problem tonight because I was trying to play the Ecamm fam song, and we couldn't get the sound to work without me taking the Rodecaster off.
So the problem is the problem with this feature is it's anytime you start talking about audio routing, you've
got people excited that oh my gods and yeses.
Audio routing for some reason makes people's brains shut off, and they get so confused, and they're like, what's happening? Is it and so like what I think part of the resistance to ever adding this in the past was that I didn't want to make it more confusing for people. And sometimes we'll say, we don't want to add that. It's going to be confusing for people. But then I'll see like the crazy workarounds and hacks people are doing to make it happen.
We see you.
And I'm like, no. Right. I can make this better. I can make this, like Katie said, stupid, simple. And
keep it simple, stupid. Yep.
This literally, you just turn it on. The device appears in Zoom and you pick it.
Yep.
There's no settings. There's no controls. And anything that you mix in Ecamm becomes your sound in Zoom. Problem is, people are going to be like, still probably confused because, and I did it to myself the very next day. I started a Zoom call for something unrelated, and I'm like, why don't I have any sound? And it was because like I had the Ecamm virtual mic picked, and Ecamm wasn't even open, and that's why I didn't have any sound. So people are going to be like, we're going to be screwing people up. It's going to be annoying for people.
That's why we need you to help test.
So my question was, maybe
test.
you guys can help me make with this problem. Like, I can make it so the Ecamm Live virtual mic just disappears when Ecamm's not open. But I thought that might be confusing for people because like, where's my Ecamm virtual mic?
Here's how I would use it. And then explain to me this. So I normally have a PC connected to as a source. So I do the Mac only does the Ecamm, and then if I want to show you a website or I want to play music, I'm playing that from my PC. But Christmas, I made a streaming setup for my son and gave him one of my monitors. So I'm like, I can't connect to PC. But I had the Ecamm fam song, and I was like playing it in the effects. And Strick's like, I can't hear it. I'm like, no, if you can hear the Rodecaster, you should be able to hear, you know. So, but I had to take
Strick
off.
should have been able to hear it.
Well, I had to take off Mix Minus to do it. Or I get
through the
echoes
Rodecaster Pro.
Through the Rodecaster Pro.
Oh, and that doesn't feed back into the input.
Right.
Yeah.
So would that have solved this issue?
I don't think that would have solved this issue. This is like the output of Ecamm goes into a different program.
Yeah, these are all of our Zoom friends and our Google Meets.
It's more for people who are trying to use Ecamm to produce a show in Zoom or into, well, even if you were like being a guest on someone else's Ecamm and you were using the virtual camera and you wanted to have control over,
that happens a
you
lot.
wanted to play sound effects into a different app.
Yeah.
So like what we do sometimes, if we're not doing it now, but we're joining via
that's what I was
Chrome.
trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm the visitor. I'm a visitor like you
Brant's
guys are.
the
And
guest.
I was a guest, so I'm trying to share my sound effects.
See, I
and it
forgot
wouldn't
that.
come through.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It
Yeah.
would help then, because then
Yeah.
you could have piped
Yeah.
the sound from Ecamm into Chrome, which
So
then
then
would
I
have
could
come
be the
through
DJ
to
Strick.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Strick's like, no,
So-
I don't think so. You're not the DJ.
Someone's chiming in and saying they want virtual mic to be disabled when Ecamm is not running. But the reason that I thought maybe that wouldn't be good is because
only show if Ecamm's open.
like if a mic goes away, an app is going to fall back to a different mic.
Oh, it'll change the default back to like whatever
and
your
so
other
like
mic
I was thinking
is.
like what if somebody's like producing something cool and or rolling a clip, and then for some reason Ecamm quits or crashes or something. Not that happens very often, but it would then fall back to like their built-in mic, and now suddenly the audience would all be hearing you like cursing. Why did Ecamm
Why
crash? Like, in other
Ecamm?
words, it would be like popping back to like a different mic that you weren't expecting. So I was resistant to make it just disappear. Anyway, we'll see what people think.
Well, you heard it here first, so you got your exclusive,
Yeah.
Strick.
No,
But
I
also-
did not. That was an easy one. We're gonna do a virtual one.
I'm
I need
looking
to
for,
know
like-
we need you guys to huddle up, do a huddle session, and say, okay, can we? Release
So I'm looking
this one?
for. Here's what I'm looking for. We all know the Mac. Everybody has the Mac Mini, right? Runs beautifully on the M1. I spent all this money on an M1 iPad. I mean, come on. And I don't see why I can't use Ecamm on my iPad M1. Just saying.
iPad
control
support is
device.
I'm not even sure that's on our big giant list. But
Great. Be another control
definitely
pad.
remote producing is on the list, like you were talking about.
Right.
Doing. We like I said at the top of the show, we announced we were
Yeah,
going to do
multi-streaming is
multi-streaming
still actually
almost
coming.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's still on the list and it's pretty close to the top. It's not coming out Monday, but it's definitely something that we still very much are looking forward to releasing.
That has to be pretty hard though, right? Because like even Restream, I'm trying to restream to LinkedIn and it's not working right now because for some reason Restream and LinkedIn aren't talking. But
Yeah,
so
like, it's
everybody seems
hard.
to be
I don't think it's as hard as Restream makes it look, to be honest.
okay.
But like, we're not going to do it exactly. We're not going to do it anything at all how Restream does it. It's going to be a completely different story. So the challenges we'll face will be different challenges. And but to be honest, like it, we've been poking around at it and thinking about it for almost 2 years now. So that it's not we won't be starting from scratch.
Gotcha.
So and then another thing that we're excited about and really have not that much to say about because we haven't really figured it out yet, but is better integration with the Zoom platform, because over
we
the
wanna
last
make it
couple
easy.
of years, Zoom has become this huge thing in all of our lives, and like I was saying a few minutes ago, the hacks and workarounds people have come up with to integrate into Zoom just makes me go, oh no, like I know we can do that better. And but there were factors in the that have always made it difficult. But we hope that Zoom, better integration with Zoom is in our not so
If you
distant
can-
future.
If you can better integrate with Zoom, how hard is it to better integrate with something like Teams? Because I see in a corporate world, everybody is using Teams because they think they've been sold a bill of goods that it's more secure.
Well, they also have it built in on all their computers.
Right.
there's that.
So I get a lot of requests for team meetings and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, you can always use the virtual camera
And the
and
virtual
the coming up virtual
the
mic.
virtual mic.
If you're going the other way
There
and
you
you
go.
want to bring in guests from Teams, I think they have NDI support in their product, don't they?
I haven't looked into Teams as much. I have a
know.
few friends who are big Teams people that we could bounce
Yeah, I'm not a
ideas
big
off
Teams
of.
person either. We might have to.
I personally despise that platform.
Really?
So I just hate
I do
using
too,
it.
but like I just entered into this corporate environment, right? Where
Yeah,
everybody is
yeah.
PC
Yeah, no,
based,
it's true.
You know,
It's true.
it's you're trying to make, and I'll just say thank you guys very much, because 2 days on my job, I was able to do, live to tape with my executive director, and he was blown away. So, then they gave me the go ahead to spend whatever I needed to build a studio, because it just it made sense all of a sudden, and everybody's like, I can't believe that I did an 8-hour telethon. They're like, I can't believe you were punching it. You did it. You had the interviews, you had the guests, you ran the videos. I was like, yeah. That's Ecamm, so Ecamm is really, and it got me my job, because I did this set. I did virtual cam for my interview, and they're like,
that's awesome.
So,
it goes
Katie, you're part of that too
Ecamm.
now. His job, the stream show gave him opportunity to do some showcasing of his skills. Same for me. And he was able to get a content creator title.
That's awesome.
His new job. So,
Ecamm,
awesome.
don't just think about Ecamm. If you're out there, this is my not pet peeve, but something I want to let everybody know, is that you don't have to be, it's not just a YouTuber, right? So I'm using it to.
Exactly.
Our example was our executive director wants to speak more to the employees via video, and he said, well, they can't ever, it takes them a week. If I say something, they got to do this. Is it the editing? I don't understand. Why does it take so long? I said, just go sit at your desk. I'll send you a link. I'll take care of it. Right. And he's
people
really
find
good,
editing really daunting. And so I think simplifying the process and the workflow and having a defined space where you can just sit down, turn things on and go makes it much more likely that people who traditionally were afraid or not loving being on video suddenly can do it a lot more often. And I think that's certainly what we're thinking about and focusing on this year is not just the live streaming. Not that we're not obviously still a player in the live streaming space, but having Ecamm and video be a much more central part of everyone's workflow. So, you're using it on a regular basis in a variety of different ways to communicate and to collaborate and to create content. So if we can help you all use Ecamm as the central tool to do that, it's a win for everyone.
And I told some other content creators this, and a lot of them are young and they don't come from the background, because I was saying something about rolling a bumper and they're like, I don't understand what that is.
Yeah, they don't know what that means. Yeah.
Right. And so for anybody that's watching, so what we do is we can stack the show with Ecamm. We can have our bumpers, we can have our opens, we can have all these things. You can have your graphics, your video, you can do all of this thing. So if you're a podcaster, or if you're you're making recorded content, you can do it, what we call it in the industry, live to tape. So once you're done, you're done. You just export it. I may edit a mistake here and there, but 9 times out of 10, I just cut the ends off of it and send it out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And so if you talk about like our segment we do for Ecamm, right? It's the behind the stream. We put the open and the close. So all I have to do is go back and look at the original show, cut out the open and the end, done, So use Ecamm for more than just live streaming. It's a very, very valuable production tool.
Yeah.
We got a question in the comments from someone called Credit Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
Hey.
And I don't know. I guess I don't know Dave, but you guys do.
No,
Why is that? So when you put the comment up and it's off the screen like that, that's a bug.
Gotcha.
That my brother Glenn needs to see, because that's his part of it.
Oh, that one right there.
I don't know why it ended up like off the screen when you put
Some of the
pushed it
longer
up.
ones are doing that. Like if it automatically just fits, it's okay.
And
Are you in the latest
beta.
Are you in the latest beta?
Yes, I am.
This might be fixed in the next one tomorrow, but Dave's asking, can we use sound effects over already playing music? That is a feature in the latest beta.
Yeah.
So if you're not on the Ecamm Live beta, you might want to check it out and test that out for us.
Yeah.
And there's a cool thing Glenn added where like you can have your music actually duck down in certain scenes. So you could have it like loud in your intro, and then when you cut to your first camera shot, you can set it to duck down lower, and you can play sound effects over it without it stopping the music. That'll be a new feature that we're still fine tuning. The beta tomorrow makes it work even better. There were some little things we're still working on, and I actually have a juicy scoop for you guys. In Monday's beta, I think I finally fixed the bug where sometimes the bicycle bell sound effect would only be on the left side.
Oh, there you go. Now on both sides.
Now it will be on both sides.
Stereo.
So like once in a blue moon, like if a certain sequence of events
The bell
happened,
or the horn?
the horn rather. would only be on one side. I think that was I only have this in one ear.
You only have one ear. It's only coming in one ear right now.
People
Thank God you fixed that, because I've used that sound effect like 630 times. No, I'm just kidding.
People would complain about this problem, and I'd be like, "No, you're crazy. It was fine for me." And then, like, once me and Glenn were doing a live, and we hit the effect, and I'm like, "That was only on one side."
Right.
The people weren't crazy.
The people were, you weren't crazy.
But I think it's one of those little bugs that's going to keep coming back to me. But I still think that maybe it might be fixed in this next update.
Tomorrow's a big day for beta.
Because I had to get down into the sound effects code to fix some other issues. And while I was in there, I think that I saw why that was happening.
Awesome.
Gotcha.
Well,
So-
tomorrow's a big day then for beta. Make sure everyone you're in that group and have the beta ready to
And
go.
also, hit the bicycle bell one more time.
Here we go.
The first, like, fraction of a second of the sound effects getting cut off to the viewers, not to you. Like, you can hear it fine.
Uh-huh.
But for me, it sounds the tiniest bit clipped. I fixed that too. So
Very good.
I will say,
it's the little things that make Ecamm Live. You know.
as a DJ, earlier today we were playing a straight out of Ecamm song. I did want to play the whole song, because we have already introduced you guys. So I hit the play button again, which stops the song, but it didn't just stop. It actually faded out. So as a DJ, I
Fancy.
love the fact that you guys put that in there, a fade, because who wants a hard cut? We don't have all the instruments in here to kind of fade it out. I guess I could have added it somewhere and faded it, but with the Rodecaster Pro, if I fade the noise, I'm fading the whole system, and I wouldn't be able to talk to you guys.
I'll
You
tell you
can
a good
thank my brother
example of
Glenn
that.
for that.
I'll tell you a good example of that. I was doing a show. We are doing something with my new job, and the director was like, I built a studio. I've got the lights. I've got everything fancy. He was like, I've got this song I want to play, and we can fade it in and fade it out. So I was trying to manually switch scenes and fade it between the Rodecaster. I did it, kind of. And I knew I have the beta, and I was told him, like, well, if you'll just stick with the same song, I can load it into a scene, and it'll just be automatic. But, those things are a really big deal, because it's hard to reach across 15 devices and,
it's hard when someone's asking you to do something that you can almost do, but not quite.
You can almost do it. Well, because in a traditional environment, you'd have another audio person, that's just doing the audio faders. So thank you very much for adding some of those. Some of the things you have added in the beta is just really thoughtful for us producers. So I really appreciate
Glad to
it.
hear it.
So for the sake of time, guys, I know we have people that have made questions. They got questions here. Some of these questions are really simple, so I'm going to go through them as fast as I can so you guys can,
And we promise we will follow up too. We have to jump off here soon, but we'll follow up to make sure we answer questions later tonight or tomorrow in the group. So don't worry if we don't get to you. We promise we'll answer your questions.
All right. So can you record video and sound, upload it in a quality from each laptop, like Riverside FM?
That's the video
that
ISO
question makes
question.
sense to you?
Yeah, we don't have that ability. The workaround would just be to have the person run a QuickTime recording on their computer while they're talking to you. But it's not, since guests join from a browser, we don't have that doing any kind of a recording on their side. I suppose it's possible, but no, we don't do that. We are looking at, a lot of people have requested the ability to keep each video track recorded separately on the host side. So that might be coming in the future too. So in other words, when we finish this show, Strick would have separate video files of himself, of Brant, and of me and Katie. It's not in there, not a feature we have right now for video. We do it for sound,
Right.
but it is a very frequently requested feature to
That'd be
have that
helpful.
independent video feed. We used to say, nah, that would take too much computing
man.
power.
Right. That's
But
what
I
would
mean, Apple
think.
gave us this amazing Christmas present, basically, of these like extremely powerful computers. These M1 Max Pro Mega whatever, they keep adding different words.
Yeah.
Have
Super,
a lot
super
of
mega.
ability, and we might not be able to do like 4 simultaneous like 4K streams or something, but you could definitely get a usable recording result out of it. Sorry, there's some
Yeah,
stuff
if you
going
could do
on. in the room.
1080p, that would be great.
So real
Yeah,
quick,
exactly.
someone asked about access for a drone. So they want some kind of way to be able to use drone signal to.
Yeah, they were
Rtmp.
getting a little technical on us, but he's looking. He or she, I can't tell from the
Facebook user,
thing, but
unidentified
is
Facebook
looking
user.
for Rtmp Ingest, which we do not offer as a way to get video into Ecamm. It sounds like he's got a workaround. It's just not a very frequently requested feature, but the fact that he said he's doing it to get a drone video in there means that this would be an excuse for me to buy a sweet drone. So hey,
you
maybe
go.
I'll add it, because that sounds really fun. Actually, Glenn has a really
I was going to say
really
both
sweet
Glenn
drone.
and we have one as well. Ours is not as sweet as Glenn's.
Find out
but
if it does. How
we
you
have the
get
same
an
company, the two of us.
Get in touch with support Facebook user, and maybe we can find out how you're doing RTMP out of your drone. Because
Where is that
all
coming
I
from, Strick? I don't see that person in the Ecamm. Is that from our stream? I'm trying
It's
to
from
find
the
that
group.
person.
It's coming
From the group.
From the group.
It's from the group. Yeah.
it was somebody who I saw go by in the comments,
Bye.
Okay.
and we do support RTSP input, which would be from an IP camera, but not RTMP. So, go figure.
Yeah, that's see. Melvin is saying DJI drone. That's what both Glenn and we have.
Okay.
Yeah. Ours is
Yeah, okay.
tinier, but it.
We'll get that added because I want to stream from the drone.
Yeah,
There
me
you
too.
go.
That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, that would be
Alright.
awesome.
Feature request: recording in 4K but streaming in.
Oh,
1080.
we've got a lot of people that have asked about this because they're trying to keep the higher level quality video for editing, but
We-
they don't want to stream at that quality.
We might revisit that. I mean, we've always said not
a good one,
possible, but
Rich.
like I said, the computers are getting so much faster now. Maybe it's possible.
So we got to see Big Rich in 4K. I'm sorry.
I know.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Doc's on. We got to go.
There you go. Hey guys, let's do this. Thank you so very much for your time today, Ken and Katie. We really appreciate you doing this for the community. It means a
it's so
lot for
fun.
all of us, and we love using your product. And who knows where Ecamm will land, but we're going to be there the whole way using it and making sure that people know all about Ecamm.
Yeah, quick shout out if I can. So this upcoming week is LinkedIn week in the community and on our LinkedIn page. So if you're like, I don't really know how to use LinkedIn properly, please join us throughout the week. We'll be talking not only about video, but about how to create a better profile, how to network with each other, just how to be better on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And the guys have an upcoming Q&A.
do?
So yep, you do. So it's up
When is
on,
that?
We do?
it's on YouTube. I think it's the 3rd or the 4th. I'm sure one of our amazing moderators will drop the link in.
It's this week.
I think it's I think it's this week. Anyway,
Cool.
it's
We'll
up on
see-
it's up on
I'll be
YouTube.
seeing everybody soon then.
And definitely double check if you're not already a beta user, but you want to help practice and try out some of the features and fixes that are coming through. Jump in that group, ecamm.com/beta or beta if you're in the UK.
Everyone's
BETA.
commenting on my jacket here.
I know, yeah.
If anybody wants my Stitch Fix referral code, I get $10. You get $10. They send it to you in the
That's what's
mail.
up.
You don't even have to go to the store or pick anything out.
I
there
have
you
stuff
go.
just
There-
sent to me from
so-
our merch shop, so I also do not dress
I can
myself
see
anymore.
I'm going to see we're going to get the Stitch Fix plug-in for Ecamm
Yeah,
next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next beta release.
Yeah. Built right in.
Exactly.
Again, thank you
All
guys.
right, well-
Thank you so much,
very
guys. It was
Thank
so
you.
fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Have a good night.
All right, guys. Brant, what can you say, brother? That was really cool.
That was really cool. I liked knowing that, the software that I used and I just upgraded because my year subscription was up, that I spent that money with people that I know that communicate with me, that answer my questions, that I can be there, that'll be there when I have, some hard questions, and they're constantly trying to fix it. So I just think the world of Ecamm and the group there and the community, because we wouldn't be here without the community. Me and you wouldn't have met without the Ecamm community. So,
That's right.
So I think that's, and everybody I talk to, is the number one reason we're all here, right? It's not, more than the software and more than the price, or it's on a Mac. It's all about the community. So, kudos to Katie and Glenn and Ken and Doc Rock and Caleb and everybody else that's in the community, you know, that works at Ecamm that helps this community thrive.
So there you go. Brant, I said this in the show for Katie that, you know, she's like our third member, you know, really helped get us started. And, you know, we are now interviewing one of the co-founders of Ecamm. Next Sunday, we have another one of our community members that started with us, you know, Alicia Way, coming with Mary Lou Mandy, who is a awesome content creator. And then after that, we have the CEO of Logitech coming to the stream show inside of the Ecamm community and on our Facebook page. Like, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and you know, I'm so excited that his name is Bracken Darrell. I'm so excited to have him on, and I just want to kind of prelude to what Katie was talking about their LinkedIn. That's all because of LinkedIn. I have mastered the LinkedIn connections. I've been working on LinkedIn for the past couple of years, and I just think everybody's asleep on LinkedIn. You got to be there. That's where the CEOs are. That's where the community managers are. That's where the marketing director that is going to sponsor your show is, you know, they're looking at you there. So get on LinkedIn, make a profile, follow me there. It's Brant Collins. Follow Strick City over there. Is it Strick City or DJ Strick? I'm sorry. For you.
It's Strick City. It's Strick City.
Strick City. So
I'm a whole city there. You see, I put up with Doc. Doc's talking, said he's coming very soon. Doc, man, you got to hit the link. We got to book you, brother. We got to have you in.
That would be awesome. You know, I just think that, you know, the whole group and everybody is growing and doing well. And I'm just excited to be a part of this group. And, but if you want to, you know, we're trying our best to balance that line between bringing you good, entertaining content for one, but we're also trying to, like Strick said a little earlier, put a little journalist hat on, trying to get some business insiders from CEOs and other creators. So we're going to, you know, because our goal is to help streamers succeed. So we really want to start diving into what the future of content creation and the creator economy is and how live streaming plays into all that.
So our meeting with the Logitech CEO, and even tonight, Brant, hit a light bulb went off for me. Some of the things that we've been talking about in our own little chatty conversations we have during the week is about how we help. We really want to be able to help board members and other CEOs look better when they go live. Right. And a lot of people are using Zoom to go live. Okay, they kind of weathered the storm, figured out their security issues, and, you know, now everybody is Zooming, but not everybody is Zooming well. So if that's a focus for Ecamm, it's definitely the people that we want to be able to help. You know, someone that has the funding that, hey, I can pay for this program that's going to make me look better on Zoom, but how do I do that? And helping them understand all of the components, not just going live because you want to do a show, but going live because you're the CEO of the company. You need to be able to talk to them remotely, but you want to do it and not look down at your camera the whole time. I've seen it on broadcast television. I've seen it on CNN. You know, that's a pet peeve of mine to see some of these high dollar people and look down at their laptop and talk into the camera. Like, we got to help them. And I think Ecamm is going to be the way that, you know, we could do that. And having the Logitech CEO come on, and one of the questions that we have is, you know, what's after, you know, the Brio, the webcam? Like, do you have another product that, you know, you guys are trying to put out there different than the Brio to step up the content creator opportunities, and to help other CEOs?
To let people know, though, if you're not paying attention to Logitech, we all use their mice. I'm using a gamer mouse right now on my stuff. I love all the Logitech stuff, but they also own Blue Microphone, Streamlabs, Mevo. They own a lot of other properties that are in this creator space. And they even started, one of the things we're going to talk about is creator economy, because they did start a creators page where they're actually sponsored some streamers and things like that. So, for me, I came to the conclusion that this is just what I've learned, right? You and I talked about this. So we did this for network TV. This is what we know how to do. And this is our creative space, is live streaming. So, we can help you with all the business and technical side, because I do feel like this is important for everybody going forward, whether you're a teacher doing, Zoom classes with your kids, or a CEO, a church, or you just want to be a remote producer. Like, right. I've had people reach out to me all the time, to run a show. So this is a really, really good skill to know going forward.
So, Brant, another great show. Thank you for everybody that's chimed in. Thank you, Kevin Cox. Kevin, I'm going to inbox you, man. We need to talk. Felicia, you have been awesome. Thank you for hanging out with us. And yes, they do have this light. We're going to get a chance to talk to the CEO about that light. And thank you for a great live stream. Man, it's cool that we're able to put a product together that people really can appreciate. And Doc, we got to look at it, man. I may have missed it because I don't see it on the 6th, but we'll talk, because we got to have you on the show. We're both using this, was it Tidy Cal, which is I'm an AppSumo guy, man. I'm taking everything. I love AppSumo. That's one of their products that I use, and we're using that to book, which is really cool. And we have to go over what we've done with this latest group of guests and using it automatically, and it shows up on my calendar, it shows up on the stream show calendar. You get it, I get it, and everybody is cool. So
we also need to go over in depth how we're using the new, when they updated notes, and you could start sharing notes, just like Ken was talking about. Exactly. We developed our whole workflow around notes and just a shared folder. So we'll go over that.
So Trello wasn't working. Slack wasn't working for us, but now notes is like the thing. Like, we were missing it.
It's perfect.
It's perfect because, I have my phone, my iPad, 2 Mac computers. And now on my Mac Mini, I go to notes, drop it on the desktop, or drop it wherever I need it. And it's ready to go, files and that kind of thing. So that being said, awesome. Brant, man, we could talk all night. I guess we're talking because we're just so excited. Like, really, guys, I've learned a long time ago to be in the moment. And sometimes if you have a crazy moment, like being able to spend time with the CEO and the marketing director of a company that you personally use, I wish they had stock, because I would buy it. Do they? They don't have, do they honest? It's still a privately owned company. Now, we got to try to see if we can get some
stock options. Yeah, NFT.
There you go. So, thank you guys so very much. I have the song, so since Doc is here, let's go ahead and see if I can do it one more time. Yeah, play it out, man, because this is really cool. Doc, if you want to make all the stuff.
And if you want to make a stream show song, hit us up.
Oh man, that's a good thing. That's a good.
You gotta dance.
Stream show song.
State of Ecamm. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the jam.
Like that. All right, guys.
This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam.